in West Grade Terminal, born and raised in a trash heap is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and I was stealing some gold off of some fools when a couple of pirates who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. They set one little fire, and my dad got scared and said, "You're moving back in with us, and I don't care." And that's like kind of the song, yeah. Because Sabo, he's like the Fresh Prince, Fresh Prince of the Gray Terminal. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast where we highlight and discuss new series each week. But today we are back again with more Done Piece, which means that today my name is Josh Sabo Michaels, and today I am joined by
Mehgan 3D2Y Perrine.
Sick. What a sick
dude, I'm getting that
intro.
tattooed. I'm getting it tattooed.
I want it tatted for sure, 100%. Like, who else is down? Who else is down? Let's all do it. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of what we call our Done Piece series. Today we are going to be talking about the post-war arc, chapters 581 through 597. We're coming off of Marineford, which was such an intense, epic, emotional arc, and it just feels so crazy to finally be here, like to finally be at the halfway point, or to be like right at the beginning of this time skip. We're like the next chapter we read is the time skip, once the time skip has taken place, and so just to finally be here feels crazy. It feels like it's all flown by. It feels like the characters in the series has changed so many times, and I am just over the moon. Every time we do one of these episodes, every time we read more of these arcs, I just get more and more freaking pumped, dude. And I can't wait to see everything, all the loose ends that were tied up, all the people that came together, all the things that were alluded to happening over the course of this time skip. I can't wait to see everybody back together again. The crew, the Straw Hats, back together again. Bigger, badder, better than ever. I'm so just insanely hyped. But Mehgan, how did it feel getting to this point? I mean, we're going to talk about the arc too, but just now that you're here, just walk us through like your journey so far and what it feels like to be here right now.
It's just so crazy. I mean, at the end of Marineford, like we kind of like stated, even in the manga, it says like this is the end of an era and a new one's beginning. Like at the end of this post-war arc, like I definitely felt that more than ever.
Yeah.
And it was emotional for different reasons. Marineford was definitely like high intensity. This was kind of like a damn, like a
yeah.
Like you felt a nostalgia for these characters, and like seeing little Luffy and little Ace was so fun, and seeing kind of how they were brought up as like how they continued to be growing up, and that like definitely shaped who they were.
Yes.
And having these people and having these experiences definitely made them who they were today. And, again, seeing the Straw Hats towards the end, everything felt like it was gearing up, and they were all getting ready to be better for themselves and for Luffy's sake and for the crew's sake. And yeah, it was just such a great experience. And like, I loved the whole thing.
Same. And you said it. You said a lot of things that I just think are so true, and what make this arc so cool is we get to see the Straw Hats really want to do what Luffy did for them. They want to do for him what he did for them. And they're willing to, work so hard and grow so much stronger for him, for their captain, just like he wants to grow stronger, for them, to protect them. And we get to see, like you said, where that comes from. We become so much more informed on these characters based on these events that took place in their past, these events that molded, who they would be. I mean, there was a line between like Sabo, Ace, and Luffy, where Sabo just kind of says like, I can't wait to see what we're like when we're all adults. That's a heartbreaking line because obviously of what happens to Ace, but Luffy, these were the years that shaped him, and these were the years that molded him into becoming the man, the captain, the person, the pirate that he is today.
And it's just so masterful the way Oda kind of set up the whole story, like so far, like Luffy's pretty much the only one that we didn't see like a flashback to their childhood. So we became more and more kind of like I wouldn't say attached, but I would definitely say we knew more about these other characters than we even did Luffy. And after Marineford, Impel Down, we got to spend so much time, like personal time with Luffy. So at the end, you know, post-war, when we're getting that Luffy flashback, you're even more like, you're just falling head over heels for Luffy because you know him more now and you feel like you understand him more as a character. Before, it was kind of like, you know, bum rushing everything and like getting stuff done. And now that he's like going through what he's going through, it definitely like humanizes Luffy for me, like totally 100%.
Yeah. What a bold choice, but it worked. And it paid off. Yeah. But to give your main character's backstory halfway through the series, I mean, Luffy was the last one that we really hadn't seen. We had seen his sort of introduction to Shanks and his departure from the Windmill Village, but like to see everything that happened and to meet characters like Dadan and to meet Sabo and to see all these events and all the this training that he went through and his relationship with his two brothers and with Garp and with the owner of the bar who would come in and check up on them sometimes, you know. I mean, I mean, I've been feeling more and more connected to Luffy just based on like his actions and really finally fully over the course of, I would say the last like 4 arcs, like really maybe since like Enies Lobby and Water 7, like around that time, really starting to see, who this man is and what this man is really all about. But now, like you said, I feel even more connected to him because I know, what the events that shaped him and made him become this person. And I empathize with him. I feel so much more, I don't know. I just feel, like you said, connected, but I'm just like, I feel so much more sadness for a lot of we're seeing the dust settle from a lot of the events of Marineford. We're seeing how it shakes the world, and we're seeing how it's making, like, I think Eustace Kid has a line where he's just freaking hard, dude, for a new era. Dude, he's like, new era, I'm freaking hard, I'm ready to go. And we're seeing that power vacuum, and we're seeing like all these other pirates trying to, fill that void and all these things. And meanwhile, Luffy is on this island, and he is, for the first time, like, doubting or realizing and admitting to himself and out loud and screaming in pain just that he is weak, that he still needs to get stronger.
That was the craziest part. Like the first time ever, halfway through the series, he's always said without a doubt ever in his mind, meeting people and just stating it like it's nothing. Like, oh, you're this person, but I'm going to be king of the pirates. Like never once having doubt in himself. And then he finally like has that little question mark at the end of like, can I really become king of the pirates? Like king of the pirates? Like for the first time, like what? Like that was so crazy to see that from Luffy for like the first time ever because of how shaken he is and how, again, like he has like really no hope until he kind of realizes, like I love that moment with Jinbe. That's probably one of my highlights. Then he realizes, like, it's not, I do have something else. I do have this glimmer of hope. And and that panel too. I mean, a lot of these emotional panels, even in Marineford, were beautifully drawn, and a lot of them in the anime adapted very, very well. Even all the way back to the Luffy's punch with the celestial dragon. Like the anime does tend to deliver on those like really emotional moments. But that was a beautiful moment, a beautiful panel. Him questioning, him doubting it for the first time. I feel like for someone like Luffy, this is the first time. And this is going to be the last time. This is going to be the freaking last time he's going to ever doubt this or question this because, I mean, this is what it took. It took this long and this series of events to really break him. And it took a lot. Like, this man went through a lot. And he's finally here, and he finally, screams that he needs his crew, that he wants to see them. And I'm just reading, and I'm like, me too, brother. I mean, I want to see him just as bad as you do. Yeah, it was so emotional. Like, because we said it before, and I was like, oh, he's so alone. Like, he doesn't have his crew. Like, he doesn't have his, like, friends. Like, they're all scattered across everywhere. He doesn't even know where they are or when he'll meet up with them again. And just for him to like finally say, because before he didn't really have time to think about his crew. I mean, it was just like, I gotta go, I gotta save Ace. And now he's kind of like sitting in it and like, damn, like I miss them.
And again, I love to see all these flashbacks, and a lot of people were telling us, and we have a couple highlighted comments that we want to get to. But even people in the comments and in the SBS, people saying that if you do look carefully, because we questioned and we theorized so many things after the end of Marineford, and I would say that, some of the things we were pretty close on.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, some things we were wildly off and could have never predicted. But, with things like Sabo, people have brought it to our attention. And even in an SBS, people said that if you look really closely at a lot of those flashbacks, you can see the shadow of another sake glass. And there are so many moments like that throughout where we've seen these flashbacks from Luffy's point of view, or we've seen what Oda has wanted us to see in the moments where he is looking back on the moment where Ace said, like, how dare you, think I could ever die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we saw that in Marineford. We saw the moment of them standing on the edge of the cliff, saying like, these are the kind of pirates we want to be. But then we get to see the full story, and they freaking Lion King one halved us. I mean, you got Dadan over there in the corner, and you realize, I mean, that's a whole separate movie. That's like, I call that the Lion King 1 1/2, when you realize Timon and Pumbaa were having their own story in the background, hiding right around the corner right there. And if you go back and watch episode 1 of One Piece, you could just know in your head that Dadan is right there around the corner, just like poking her head out. In their relationship too, talking about emotional moments in the last episode with Garp and family. I mean, Dadan, and even Garp and Dadan's encounter, just again, equally emotional, in realizing that this character is, I mean, it's stated in the, in her character introduction, in her name box description, that she is Ace and Luffy's foster parent.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, like that's their mom. I mean, like, she cared so much for them. And I am a sucker for a character that is a rough around the edges character, like a tsundere mom kind of, like she's tough on them. She acts like she doesn't like them, or that they're just a nuisance. But when it comes down to it, she's gonna be there.
Can't do anything.
Yeah,
for
she's gonna fight for them. She's gonna die for them if she has to.
Yeah, and that another probably highlight for me was that moment after everything, back to not a flashback, but like to the present, with like when she's meeting up with Garp.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah,
and she's like, "You what?" She's like, "You bit." Like, she was just so angry, and then. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get there, but that made me cry.
Yeah, and these are only a few of the things that we're going to be talking about today when we go. Yeah, it's jam packed. We're going to be going through it beat by beat, and we don't want to miss anything because so many things happen. And again, it's setting up, I think, all the things that are going to happen in this next part. And even getting to that moment was so emotional. Like, damn, like my heart just like sank, but in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to that last panel of this arc where Luffy's like putting his hat and he's putting the Vivre, paper in his hat, and it's just on the rock. And speaking of rocks, I mean, oh my God, the moment with Ace and Luffy and the freaking Sabo rock, like what the heck? But we're gonna talk about all that stuff and more.
Oh yeah, I mean, it is like so crazy because we were kind of like speculating why Ace would say, it got me through those times because, as a little brother like Sabo, like, you kind of realize before Luffy got there, like, that was his first, like, homeboy. Like, they were saying they were saving treasure up for years because Luffy's 3 years younger than them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, damn, like, it was Sabo, and then Luffy came around, and then, shit hit the fan, but yeah, they were tight before.
And part of our theory or our speculation, which we do have a lot of again this time around, and that we'll save towards the end, but was that in order for Luffy to have said that line that he said in Marineford, Ace is the only brother I have in this entire world, it would have had to have mean for someone like Luffy to say that to his knowledge and to Ace's knowledge, Sabo is dead, and we do kind of get that a little bit too.
Or I was like, only Ace and Luffy shared sake, but that wouldn't really make sense. Maybe like Sabo came later, but then I was like,
rude as fuck,
yeah,
dude.
Sabo's just chilling
if
over
he
there.
was there,
and Luffy and Ace were like, brothers.
Like someone in the SBS was like, yeah, I see the shadow from another sake glass, and Oda's like, you were right, but there won't no sake in it. And he was just sitting there with the panel. He's just sitting there with an empty cup. And he's like, yeah, you're
like, you fucking rich kid. You're not getting shit.
Oh, and that too. Like, that was so sad, man. And what I love about like that whole part, and I promise we're going to get into it, but it's just like, I'm just high right now. But high on One Piece.
I'm sorry. I'm just so faded off of One Piece right now.
Yeah, I'm blacked out on One Piece right now. But that moment too, this is that whole Sabo story just being about two things that I really connected with, in the idea of just parents, right? Like parents wanting you to be whatever they want you to be, kind of echoing freedom, like Ace's freedom. He wants to be sort of free from what people's idea of him is because of the fact that he is Roger's son. But now Sabo, wanting to be his own person, and his parents constantly pulling him back, blackmailing him or threatening him. Yeah,
for real.
And to, I guess threatening more than blackmailing, but threatening him for sure. And it's just like, that happens so, that is a thing that also happens all the time, where, parents really want their kids to be this thing. They have this idea of who their child is. And sometimes like they have to really be able to heal, they have to mourn the idea of like losing that image of their child that they had in their mind, to be able to accept who their child really is. All these things I connect with because I kind of went through those things with my parents, and fought tooth and nail a lot of the times to defend sort of like my choice and the way that I wanted to live my life. So I connected with this story a lot more than I expected to, on top of just Sabo's reaction to everything happening, and what was so, him being such a kind, I think, pure person and good person at his core. It was so, and a child too.
That's what was a cool thing about it, because we constantly got a couple lines like, oh, this is what's best for him. You'll understand when you're older. You'll get it when you're older. You're just a kid right now. And like parents just say that, or adults just say that to kids when they're like trying to do something right or good, because there's a different type of like, like morals, I guess. But at the end of the day, like if you're doing bad or good, like if a child calls you out, like,
yeah,
they're still capable of understanding what's right and good, which is like crazy, because sometimes people don't want to hear what's good and bad because they want to not follow what's good or bad. So it was just interesting. Like, you understand when you get older, this is probably best for him to like go in this like high society and like grow up to be an asshole, and again, like have money but not freedom, and
have money, not freedom, for sure. And I love this like juxtaposition of seeing these younger rich kids and their families in their houses the night of this fire that takes place. Juxtaposed with the actual residents of this these trash mountains and their kids, and they're being burned alive. And one aristocrat's like, it's too bright outside. And then another girl comes in and she's like, Daddy, I can't sleep. You got to study. You got, school in the morning or whatever. And it's just like how these two things are happening at exactly the same time, almost in exactly the same place, like not very far apart. And that's another crazy thing. Like I almost wonder if they were like, if there were like aliens that came to Earth, right? And they could see the whole world, right? They could see everything that was happening in the world at once. I almost wonder if they would be also like similarly like Sabo. I love the confusion of him when he was running to tell everybody about, or to ask them and to question them. He's like, this must be a secret. Like nobody must know about this, because people are having freaking tea. People are drinking tea. People are just like eating food. Like people are walking around acting as if everything is so normal. And if something like this really was going to happen, then because he had faith in humanity and faith in people, he was like, then I think people would be reacting. At least they'd be scared. At least they'd be acting weird. He's like, no, but everybody's living their life. So I imagine if you were to like zoom out, right? Or like some being had the capability of zooming out and seeing everything happening all at once, how it would look to them, as humans, as us, the human race, separate from, every other thing that divides us. Like the one thing that bonds us being that we're all human. This like extraterrestrial looking out and going like, damn, look at all this war, and look at all these like, this famine, and look at all of these people whose lives are being like taken from them, And then you just zoom over here, and look at these guys at a freaking AMC, dude, eating popcorn, eating popcorn and candy and watching the Sonic 2.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, we're so like hyper focused and in our own world.
Yeah.
It's
crazy. Doflamingo said it best, like children who never know war, like kids who know war, like they live in different lives, and like justice is in, the person who makes it, and freedom is in the person who makes it. Like, it's just crazy. Like everything, the setup is just perfect because you see that clear as day here. Because again, like they're two different, kids in one room asking like, why are these people poor? They should have just been born rich. And you have people living in trash, but they're happy.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love seeing Ace and Luffy and Sabo as kids too. I did get obviously they're like street rats,
Yeah.
They're like,
Ruffians.
Ruffians.
Rugrats.
Dude, they kind of look like Rugrats, dude. There were some panels where I was like, I was like, Sabo looks like Tommy Pickles right now, dude.
I know. I drew like Luffy's lying face. I don't know if you could see that, but yeah, they're so cute.
They are.
And I loved seeing Luffy as a kid because it is just so funny. You get that scene, that like brutal scene with the pirates, but for the like first time ever you hear him be like, ow, that hurt, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I was he's a baby.
Yeah. And that he wasn't always this person.
Yeah.
He wasn't always, and that's the thing with Sabo, when you were talking about his situation, Luffy hadn't fully adopted that way of thinking or wasn't, and because it was these events, I think that made him realize that he had to become this way. But with Sabo and them being told that they are kids and that they don't understand and that they'll never understand, or they'll understand when they get older.
They're seeing these horrible things happen around them and no one's doing anything.
And like you said about how a lot of people don't, want to, see it, or I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. And that's what I like about Luffy. Luffy doesn't overcomplicate anything. He cuts all the fat, from around these issues and problems, and it gets right to the meat of it because he loves meat. Yeah, because he loves meat. He'd probably eat the fat too, though.
No, he'd eat it to the bone.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think that Luffy now, if those events would have happened, and Luffy was who he is now, like he would have like put a stop to that right then and there.
Yeah.
But it is, like you said, cool to see him before he really, because as kids, there are events that shape us, and it's just crazy to see Luffy before he becomes the Luffy that we know and love him for being.
Yeah, or things you can't, like, that are out of your control as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, the adults have to deal with it. You can only do so much. And you saw that, like, pretty clear as day when, like, Ace and Luffy are trying to go save Sabo, and Dan's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna, don't do that. But they end up going anyway. But it was just like, you can't do anything. Like, it's out of your control. Even
more reason and justification for why Akainu's words got to Ace, or Ace turned back around. A lot of those moments of he's like, well, once I start something, I have to finish it.
Yeah. And exactly. There's like that line when he goes, sometimes I get so angry and feel like if I run away, I'll lose something important. And that's when he said, like, I thought about what was important, and Luffy was behind me.
Yeah.
But Luffy was behind him too, and that's why he couldn't.
Yeah.
That's why he couldn't stand down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so beautifully, the story is so beautifully woven.
It really is.
And told, and woven really because everything is connected. And we really see that a lot here too, with even the Straw Hats and all the islands that they end up on.
The Revolutionary Army.
And the revolution. And also, like, to see that we were, kind of right about, like, Kuma maybe, like, wanting to help and send them to a place where they could grow in strength. But also, when they first get there, a masterful stroke from Oda is when they first get there, you kind of do somewhat, like, understand for some of the Straw Hats. It's more clear what they're going to be learning there. Mm-hmm. Like, for Nami, it's pretty clear. I would say for Frankie, it was pretty cleer. For Chopper, it wasn't very clear. For Robin, it wasn't very clear. Yeah. But then to see over...
And Zoro...
Zoro...
It wasn't really clear. Because it was like Perona.
You're right.
And I was like, is he just going to, like, be with Perona? Like...
And even Sanji, it wasn't really clear. Yeah. Like, what he's going to be learning there is just a gag. So a masterful stroke from Oda, then when you get to go back and see that might have been a lot of people... When they first got sent there, there were people that we hadn't even met yet that we had to meet first that would go back in and have Ivankov being one of the main ones, right? That would go back to
Nukama.
To Nukama, or the island.
Yeah. I don't think is it Nukama? No, that's the one in the Impel Down.
That's the one in Impel Down.
Yeah. I think they call it. Whatever.
Yeah. But then obviously seeing other people like Mihawk show up in the Muggy Kingdom, and like I said, to see Ivankov, but then to get, as the story progresses, to get a more clear idea of exactly, like in the case of Chopper 2 and Usopp, the exact things they're going to be. Usopp had a Thor moment, dude. That's why I keep thinking, like, did the Russo brothers freaking read One Piece and just steal a lot of this stuff? Because, like, everything that happened in Sabaody, right? Kuma, and then the defeat, right? And then I think, like, Usopp got fat, and Usopp's going to come back yoked, dude. Mark my words. I mean, I've seen, things about him, and he's jacked, but he says, in one of the panels when he's on the island, he says, like, yeah, I gotta shed this weight and I gotta build muscle. And I'm like, this guy's coming back freaking jacked, dude. He's gonna be a freaking gym rat when he gets out of off that island. But yeah, dude, he did a Thor, Endgame Thor move where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna have fat Usopp around for a while.
Yeah. He's like, I got nothing else to do right now. I'm just gonna eat all this food on this island. And
I'll say this, dude, Usopp crushes Thor. Like, Usopp is way sicker than Thor. Dude.
Oh yeah. Thor like barely. He gets like Hollywood fat. Usopp gets like a balloon. How's that fool even running around?
Yeah. He gets like my 500-pound life.
Yeah. Or like Harry Potter, like that type. Like when they get to the balloons and they're like floating away. Yeah.
But I just think it was cool that we didn't know everything even about these places.
Robin was sick. Like she's gonna be dragon. Yes. Like that was so awesome. And I loved like you didn't really know what was going on towards the end, like because they're all reading that newspaper, and I'm like, oh god damn, what did Luffy do now? Yeah. Luffy, just lay low and rest up. Like just chill. Yeah. And I was like, oh god, did he infiltrate another place he's not supposed to be? I was like freaking out, and then it just turned out to be this little like hidden message. That's why I'm like, I'm getting that shit tatted, because if you don't know, you don't know. If you know, that's the whole point. That was what he was trying to do against the Straw Hats. He was trying to send a secret message and cross out the D, because Will of the D is dead. No, it's not dead, but one of them died. Oh, shoot. Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of the S in Ace's tattoo being crossed out. Sabo, they thought Sabo died, so they're like, R.I.P. If that is the reason, though, it's a weird thing to do if someone dies, you know what I mean? And they cross out
like, imagine
their
if someone had like a portrait tattoo of like their grandma that passed away. You know how some people get sometimes? Yeah. And then, or they got it when their grandma was alive and then their grandma died and they just put a big old X over it.
Usually it's like the other way around. You get a tattoo of someone who passed away.
Yeah, in memory of them.
Yeah. I've heard people that get like tattoos of like, girlfriends or boyfriends, and they just cross them out.
Yeah, cross them out. I mean.
But like, why? Just get it covered. Like,
because it's
just like a rite of passage. Yeah, saying a message. Yeah. You're like, hi, nice to meet you. You're like on a date and your whole leg is full of names. Some are crossed out. Some are like, like highlighted, like, call back later type of thing. And they're like, oh, okay, that's sick. But the 3D2Y, like, I want it. Yeah. That's so sick. I'm like, Nami's tattoo's sick. But that one, again, it's like hidden. Like if you know, you don't. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
There's so much shit I want to get. Like I want to get a Berserk tattoo, a One Piece tattoo, and I want to film it, dude. I want us to go and I want to film it. Yeah. And I'm just like I would get the 3D2Y. I would get that, but I would also get like, I don't know, man. I would get like some like Law's kind of. Jolly Roger's kind of sick. Law's like just hand tattoos are kind of sick. I mean,
you should get the hand tattoos.
Dare me, dude. Dare me.
You're gonna have like 17,000 comments. Do it. Yeah. Do it, and then he's gonna do it.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a lot to go through. We're gonna try to get through it at a decent pace, not too fast, not too slow. Goldilocks it just right. Don't want it to be another almost 3-hour episode.
People are like, we want it.
Yeah, some people are like, we want it. Most people are like, we want it.
I mean, with Marineford, it just had to be done. There was so much to get through, and there is a lot like in this couple chapters. That is a lot of information too. A lot of cameos, like you said, a lot of things speculation, like who Doflamingo talking to, who's this connected to the military, like what is going on, who's gonna be replaced,
who are gonna be the next warlords of the sea, because they might already have seats by the time the Straw Hats come back.
No, I mean, I think for sure, they have to,
and I think it's gonna be
they need like the people to cool down and trust the government again and not question anything, because they're already covering up some shit.
Well, they I think also maybe even more so need, because there's a power vacuum, and so they know that the pirates are going to be going at each other a lot to take over Whitebeard's territory, to fight for that. So they're kind of just sitting back and waiting to see like who wins, who stands, who are the ones who are the ones that are victorious, or who are the ones that become the most feared or the most renowned, and then they'll approach, I think, those people. So they're kind of letting them kind of interview themselves, whittle themselves down a little bit. But let's get to the highlighted comment. We're just going to go through the first one and maybe the second one, but just really briefly so we have more time to get to the arc. But today's highlighted comment comes from Jaquan Ford, who says, I just want to say that Sakazuki means to form a bond over sake. So Sakazuki is how Luffy gained a brother and also how he lost him. Wow. That is literally heartbreaking, insane,
it's masterful.
Yeah.
I was like, huh? And even there's another comment on the bottom, like, I never heard of this.
Yeah.
Like, because you call him a
kainu.
A kainu. You never really think about like his like name, and you're like, oh shit.
That's the thing. I kind of forgot that was his actual name, and when you do find that or realize that, it does hit so much harder.
It puts a hole in your heart.
It puts a hole in your heart. And Oda knew what he was doing. He had it. He had it in his pocket from the jump. And a lot of people were also saying like, yeah, did you guys remember that Akainu was the one who was the one who was on Ohara during the Buster Call that we kind of barely got to see, and who was the more ruthless one, and the
one who made the final call. I mean, like even saying Aokiji was like, well, we got who we got, like, and he's like, no, blow it up, and I mean, that was something that I did remember or was aware of, but we forgot. I forgot to mention it on the episode, but being reminded of it too is just like, this, I mean, and that's why this series is so good upon a reread, going back and seeing all of these characters all over again, and you are already knowing what they're going to do and what part they're going to play in the story in the future. And I'm sure there's characters that we are reading about now that we still have no idea the things that they are going to be involved in and are going to happen because of them in the future. But that was a beautiful comment. That was an amazing comment. Oda is a madman. Oda's a goat, and he always will be. Yeah. Yeah. Goda. The other comment, I mean, I had one here, and like I said, I just wanted to get to it really briefly. But it was just about the zone type stuff. There was a little bit of, I mean, maybe it was also, it's like maybe two things. Maybe the first thing, I think maybe we didn't say it correctly. And then also on top of that, maybe we also didn't get it. So like we didn't say what we were trying to say correctly. And on top of that, there were some things about the zone types that we didn't understand. Yeah. So it was just real quick. This one comes from Lucas Moser, who says Marco can't regenerate because of his flame type, not because he's a phoenix. Because there was another comment above that was saying regeneration has nothing to do with zone or awakened zones. Regeneration is a ability that he has gained through the phoenix fruit, the mythical. I mean, that makes sense. They do. Rise from,
but he basically says the difference between mythical and ancient is very simple. Mythical are fictional beings, ancient are old animals, which did exist, nothing to do with what they can do with their abilities. And there was a lot of that, a lot of like people going kind of back and forth on what exactly things meant. And it was like the concept of awakened zones wasn't really explained. It was mentioned and introduced in Impel Down, but it wasn't ever like fully explained. So I was just under the impression, for whatever reason, that because there are all types of zones, right? Ancient zones, mythical zones. I mean, and even just getting to see kind of, I mean, and there were also a lot of comments that were helping explain sort of Sengoku's fruit too, and
yeah. It's like a model human.
It's a human fruit model Buddha, and that's something that I always forget to account for is the model within the devil fruit. But apparently, it's just like awakened zones. It doesn't mean they can regenerate. Marco could just regenerate, or at least regenerate as fast as he could regenerate because of the specific Phoenix. The specific devil fruit. And so I mean, on top of that, like going through that, picking that apart more, understanding that more, and also like maybe reacting to some of the theories that people have asked us to react to, like the Croc Mom theory. And
I like that. I mean, again, it's like, okay, any character could just be any type of gender. Not that it matters, because gender
fluid. We're all
fluid.
We're all fluid anyway, if you know what I mean.
You're on this fluid thing.
I'm always on this fluid thing.
Yeah. So it would be interesting. There's another one. Yeah, Croc Mom. That is like Luffy's mom.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna just throw this out.
I don't know.
Just to see how everybody feels about it, watching and listening. But we did think that this would be a perfect point to just take 1 week, to maybe experiment with a different type of One Piece video in between, because this is right at the time skip.
Yes.
So it might be cool to just take 1 week off.
No, we're taking 3 days and 2 years off to train, and then we'll be back. Imagine.
No, to just kind of like look back on everything pre-time skip before we get into post-time skip stuff. Maybe rank some of our favorite pre-time skip arcs, to talk more about some of these theories, to talk about some, this portion of the series as a whole, things like that. It'd be like a look back, a recap, just like a review, reaction, discussion on the entire kind of first half. So we thought that would just be a fun video to do, and it would also give me more time to do some other things that I would like to do, like possibly. The Straw Hats get a time skip. They get some new drip. They get some new looks. They get some new fits. So I think it would only be right for us and our done piece art and things like that to get a little upgrade too. Because we want to feel like we time skipped with the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
Like we're just time skipping down the streets.
Skipping the stones.
Yeah.
On the water. But now let's get into it. Let's go through it. And again, just moments that really stand out to you, moments that you really, really, really want to talk about. We can stop for a moment and talk about them. So where it opens is just like we said, the world kind of reacting to everything. The news of the Navy's victory. And like I said, Kid, there's all the which I think they are the being hard.
Kid being hard. They're all, I think, the worst generation. But all these new pirates, the pirates of the new world, or these new this new generation who's coming up, they are all like, you get to see kind of shots of all of them
going wild,
and they're going off,
Yeah.
And like I said, Kid's rock hard, dude, and he's really excited about that, dude. I would love to see at this point. I would love to see like Doflamingo and Kid go at it. Like they just seem like two different types of chaotic beings. And I would just love to see them kind of go at it.
That'd be kind of crazy.
That'd be lit. That'd be sick. Everyone's then it kind of cuts back to Law's submarine. Everybody's kind of worried about Luffy. Boa's there, Jinbe's there, Ivankov's there, everybody's there. And there's a panel of like Luffy hooked up to all these machines, dude. Like he's on freaking life support. He's got an oxygen tank, There's all these things. And I'm like, damn, this man really is on the brink of death. I don't know what he was. I mean, he looked like he was strapped up in the Ivankov dungeon. And that was pretty crazy too. But there was some a little too real about seeing him hooked up to, like, I could see him hooked up. I could see him in a dungeon because I'm like, a dungeon, that's some fantasy shit, But when I saw him hooked up to all those machines, I was like, this is too real.
Yeah.
Luffy's going to die.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Then it cuts to Sengoku. And this is just, like I said, the aftermath of everything. Sengoku, he's kind of asking about exactly what happened at Impel Down and with Blackbeard. And Blackbeard pitted these criminals against each other.
Magellan is like on the brink of death or something, and they were talking about like him like taking his own life. I was like, oh my god.
Which does, I don't know. It did feel like to me that Bon Clay
Stood his ground.
No, it did feel like to me that Bon Clay died in that moment. That he sacrificed himself.
That's what I felt. Mm-hmm.
He sacrificed himself for the cause and for Luffy's cause. But I don't know. This does also feel like if Oda wanted it to be, if he wanted it to be, it did feel like it could be a reason for amidst all this chaos.
Definitely. I think that like Blackbeard and the other, the many escapees from that level when they came out, like Magellan was like, I don't got time for you guys.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna go. I mean, Bon Clay specifically. Like maybe Bon Clay got away. He's dealing with the bigger fish, and they messed him up.
Yes, because when we last saw Magellan, he was fine.
Exactly.
And so for then to sing Goku to hear that he's like on the brink of death,
exactly.
And pissed, and someone said like, yeah, I mean he is so dedicated that if he could take his own life, he probably would.
Bon Clay got away. I'm calling it.
He got away.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we cut to Doflamingo, who tries to kill Moria, and this is where we get a little more, behind a little Moria of the behind the scenes, the schemes,
scheming, and Doflamingo. Yeah, that was crazy. He's like, what did he say? He goes, who sent you? Sent Goku? That's probably not his voice. He's like, who sent you? Sent Goku?
Yeah, that's a Moria voice right there
and he
for
goes,
sure.
No, someone even higher up. And I was like, this fool.
Who? But that's what I really am excited to get into the theory section because I do think that I don't know. I do think that I don't know for sure. I would never say that, but I do think I might be starting to put pieces together that would make things kind of add up and make sense.
Interesting. I mean, we really haven't seen too much of a character that's been kind of talked about. Vegapunk.
Well, we definitely haven't seen a lot of Vegapunk, and
we've
then
heard
there was but we got a lot of Kuma stuff. And yeah, I do have a theory about Vegapunk too, and how Vegapunk, I don't know. Okay, we'll
get to it. We'll get to it.
But I don't think Vegapunk is as bad as I thought he was initially, just because he's making these weapons.
And because of
the military.
Yeah, and because like you're in his like hometown, you get to see a little bit more of that. And he's like, oh, Frankie's like, okay. But yeah, we're kind of like finding out like obviously the government's kind of washing away Blackbeard and his, now crew of horrible criminals are like, oh, we're just gonna say like we're just cover it up. And Sengoku's like, what?
Yeah.
And he was like, we can't do that. And he's they gotta respect, they're gonna lose confidence in the government.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just won. We can't just say that we let all these prisoners get out. Yeah. It caused chaos. And I'm like, there's already chaos happening because Whitebeard's dead. Mm-hmm. So everyone's going rampant and getting crazy. Like, of course there's still gonna be chaos. Anyway, then we get like a 2-week time skip.
Well, I mean, I think is it a 2 weeks time skip or no? I don't think so. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But Luffy, where Luffy wakes up on like Amazon Lily.
Yeah, so I think I wrote it down. I'm pretty sure it was a 2 week.
Okay, I mean,
I don't know.
It probably is, or there probably was. But we see that he is up and about on Amazon Lily. That Boa has allowed for Law's crew to kind of dock there to take care of him. And or while he recovers, and then that's that moment. And first of all, there was another line, and I do think that there are some sort of forces. I mean, people keep talking about this when they talk about Luffy. They keep talking about these forces allowing Luffy, or like almost like the universe. And because Dragon, this was like a moment with Dragon 2 and Smoker was it
Logtown?
Logtown? It might have been Logtown. Probably was Logtown. And I don't know, man. They're just talking about a lot of stuff in the universe, and like the like Luffy, like there are these forces that like
favor him,
like favor Luffy.
And that line.
Yeah.
With the old lady, right?
Yeah, old lady like Neon.
Yeah, she's funny.
Yeah,
like returning alive is something only a god can do. There's no way. And like Luffy just tends to like get out of these situations and be fine and like walk away alive, or have this like crazy luck, or have this like crazy hockey ability. Like, yeah, something's definitely
Yeah.
I don't know.
And she said, "What do the heavens want from this man?"
Yeah.
Such a sick line. That's a Game of Thrones line right there.
For
That's
real.
so sick.
Say it in a British accent.
What do the heavens want from this man? That's kind
That
of
was
bad.
okay.
That was bad.
What do the heavens want from this man?
Yeah, you're like the what are they called again? The
wilder people.
wildlings.
The wildlings.
The wildlings. You're like the wildlings. Yeah. God, what a
Fall from
travesty.
grace.
Yeah. Between that and The Walking Dead, I don't know what was fucking more heartbreaking.
Walking Dead.
I don't know.
100%.
I remember watching the last episode or the last season of Walking Dead and like wanting like my I was like watching a loved one just get murdered in front of my eyes. Like it was I felt like my heart just like my heart was in my stomach and I was just like looking. I mean,
You were distraught.
I was distraught. I was fucked up, dude. I was so fucked up. Anyway, then that's when we get that like Luffy and Jinbe moment in the forest. And I think you said that was a moment that you really liked again. And just seeing him dealing with everything and seeing with him now, conscious again and having to relive or to kind of re-experience or be reminded of the events that just happened and have to accept them.
Yeah, because he's like in denial. I mean, he's like, don't even say it. Like, don't even say it. Don't bring it up. And Jinbei's like, you have to. Like, you have to. Because everyone else, when he wakes up on the ship that first time and he's like screaming and they're like, hold him down. Like, he's completely lost it. And, like, it's just so hard to see Luffy like this because, like, I mean, really, truly, he sees Garp as a grandpa. I don't know what his relationship with him is now after all of this.
Yeah.
He's never really had Dragon as a father or like a father figure at all. Never really thought of him that way at all. We have like Dadan, but he hasn't seen her in like years. So like Ace was really, and Sabo's death, like Ace is really like the only one he had like that close. So he's just like not.
But that's why Ace, or Jinbe has that flashback of Ace telling him, I was so happy when I found him or when I ran into him. Because again, that's a lot for a brother to carry, not a burden, maybe is not the right word, but it's a lot for them to carry to feel that like, you are the only person that, your brother or your sister or your sibling has. And if anything were to happen to you, then they would be alone. But there is comfort in seeing that, like, if anything were to happen to me, that they have a group of people who care, a support system. They have a family, And so I think that's why Ace was like relieved. I mean, he even said he was like relieved. It was like a weight. Yeah, it was beautiful, and their back and forth was intense and beautiful, and Jinbe was definitely playing this like, father figure, mentor figure kind of role. He was like, or like, he's the adult in the situation, like the experienced one in the situation, and he's like, you need to get it together. Like, I mean, he's
able to like talk Luffy, like some sense into Luffy, like. I feel like Luffy's just go. Oh, don't do that, Luffy. He's like, okay, peace. And he does it anyway. And like Jinbei like forces him to kind of like see like a little bit further into the future than just right now.
Yeah.
And he did that in Impel Down when he kind of stopped him from, attacking Crocodile or whoever he was attacking, but he stopped him.
I think it was Magellan.
Magellan, yeah, he stops him. He's like, we don't have time for this right now. Again, he's like, you have other people. Like, think about your future, like not just in this moment.
Yeah, Jinbei's wise.
Yeah, Jinbei's so wise, and I totally understand why people like him so much.
Yeah, he drops wisdom on Luffy. Yeah. Like he again is experienced in these things, and tells Luffy that how it is and that it's okay. Even that, like, there was a moment with Shanks and he's telling even Luffy or in his head, sending the message out to Luffy, worrying about him, saying that, like, it's okay to cry. It's all right. Like, I want you to cry. Like, I want you to feel it. I want you to. It's just about like getting over it or overcoming it, not getting over it.
And I get like that's another like moment for Luffy too to like grow up, because he was told by Ace when he was like literally a baby, like, we don't cry, men don't cry, like you're not a kid anymore, like don't be a crybaby. And then when like Ace left, he kind of still had that like mentality, so we didn't get to see like obviously like Luffy deal with like a crazy, like he would cry, but I feel like he still had that. And if Ace would have met him and like, again, like, I cry. Everyone cries.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like vulnerable.
You cry a lot.
Huh?
You're real strong because you cry a lot.
I cry.
I wish I could. I wish I mean, I'm pretty emotionally, like, I'm pretty open and, I'm pretty expressive, but I don't know why it is so hard for me to cry. I mean, definitely, some childhood stuff, there. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, this is like a beautiful moment for Jinbe and Luffy, and that where that moment happens that he finally questions his strength and his ability to become the Pirate King, which was just incredible, incredibly heartbreaking and powerful, coming from the man Luffy himself.
For real. Like so impactful. And there was like I saw on Twitter like a side by side, like the manga versus the anime, and just the manga wins. Like, oh yeah, so much emotion when he's just like on his knees, just like screaming into the air, all these bandages on him, and you see that like line work of like the intensity of the screamings like propelling out of his mouth and in his body, and like the anime was just him like, but
although it's so funny because, quick aside, the anime did do justice to that scream that Luffy had when Ace died.
Yes.
And we were talking about it in the Marineford episode. And when I was going back, when I was editing that episode, because we were commenting on it, and I thought, it'd be kind of cool to put it in. And so I like found it and I put it in, and I was like, this is too crazy. Like it literally just like immediately made me it changed the tone of everything we were saying, and it just made me so sad. And I was like, this is just gonna like ruin people's day. Like hearing this scream is just gonna ruin their day. So I ended up not putting it in. But they do it right sometimes. But the manga, I think, always wins. Always.
Yeah.
The manga's so sick.
It was, such a great moment between the two of them, and a great moment for Luffy too, because we get to see that like beautiful splash page of him saying like, I have my crew, and then all of their faces, and I was like, I miss them. Like a single tear shed from my eye, and it was just so beautiful. And Luffy's face is just so sad and alone, and then he kind of like snaps out of it a little bit, and is just like, I have them. Like I have these people that I care about, that care about me, and again, like Ace said, like, you better become something. Like, I wish I could have seen it because I know you're going to do it. And he's gonna do it. Yeah,
he's gonna do it, dude. He's like, think about what you have right now. Don't focus on the things you've lost. Think about what you have.
Exactly. And that's what we all should do.
We all need to freaking hear that, dude. We all need a freaking stepdaddy Jinbe in our life.
Stepdaddy.
Yeah.
Stepdaddy Jinbe.
Stepdaddy Jinbe.
Hey, stepdaddy Jinbe. Get over here.
You give me some life advice. Help stepdaddy Jinbe. But that's where we start to get Luffy's flashback of Curly Dadan and his early years with Ace. This was all so cool. It informed a lot of the things we saw in the very beginning, and a lot of the things that we saw in the very beginning informed kind of the things we saw happen here and now. Like when he first meets Dadan, he because of the incident that had just happened with Shanks and the other, I think they were also mountain bandits, he says to Dadan when he first meets them, and he has the flashback of all of them behind him, and he's like, I hate bandits.
With like a smile on his face, though.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Luffy, and I hate bandits. And they're like, you little... Just wait till Garp leaves.
Yeah, dude, and that was funny, too. Like, just seeing Garp show up and Dadan, expressing, like, I'm having trouble with Ace, dude.
She's like, I'm done. Are you ready to take him now? I can't do it anymore.
And Garp's like, no, I actually have another kid that I need to look after. And she's like, what? But even her and Garp's relationship is pretty funny. Like, I just love that Garp, even being a man of the law, also is a Navy man through and through, but doesn't judge people by their wrongdoings. He judges them based on their character and who they are as people. Mm-hmm. It's like, he's like, I'm forgiving. You know how many crimes I'm like forgetting so that you can be free and not in jail and just help me out and raise these damn kids.
Yeah, for real. It's the only thing I ask of you. It's a little blackmail-y, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? She loved him. That's where we find out about, Ace and Luffy's bond and how it was sort of formed. And now Ace was already there and had already been there and didn't really like Luffy, didn't take to Luffy right away. The scene of Luffy falling in the ravine or whatever it was.
Yeah, literally like following him every day
and disappearing for a week and not coming back for a week. And everybody's like, oh, I'll just tell Garp that there was an accident or something. And how Ace would put him through that every single day when he was on his way to the Gray Terminal. And so what I like about this a lot too is we're getting a lot of the geography of the Kingdom of Gao, or the Gao Kingdom, which we have only seen Windmill Village, and now we get to see like, the
literally
the Edge
like
Town.
right, like Windmill Village is kind of like separated, but everything else.
Yeah. Then there's like Mount Corvo, and then there's like you go down, and then there's the Gray Terminal, the trash area, Edge Town. Then there's like Central and all, and it is just like you get to see the whole island, the whole kingdom. And that's really cool too, to discover more of Luffy's home geography, because it's also Dragon's home, or at least I think Dragon does say that, right? Like that this is my home. But yeah, that was a fun couple of chapters of just seeing like Luffy pages of seeing Luffy trying to follow Ace every day. And then we find out that Ace is going to this place to meet his friend, his buddy, Sabo. And this is the first time that we actually meet Sabo in the series. And I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Another character that, again, I knew nothing of this man, but you can't help but see him places.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate given the mystery, quote unquote, that this kind of like, or the place that this story with Sabo kind of ends. But yeah, I don't know nothing about what happens after, if he does return. But yeah, it was awesome to finally meet this guy. I see this guy everywhere.
Yeah,
and now I know a little bit more about him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have seen things of him that aren't in child form.
Oh, yeah.
So it is like, yeah, I mean, I know people are saying like, watch out for spoilers. But I mean, I feel like I've seen this man even before I started watching One Piece, or I mean, reading One Piece. So, it's just like seeing like, oh, Ichigo, like, or like, Naruto, like you just kind of like through, consuming this media.
Like you see some of their other forms and stuff.
Yeah. It's just, it happens. But I was just happy to see like the way he was connected to Ace and Luffy for sure. And his backstory. For sure. Yeah, their entire backstory, so cute. And again, it was a story that I really connected a lot with. That's when they have that like altercation with the Blue Jam pirates. They're saving up treasure to kind of become pirates themselves. Yeah. And so Luffy's like, oh, treasure. And they're like, God damn, it's like your little brother literally like following you. You're like, don't follow me.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And he's like, don't follow me, because you talk and you'll tell mom and dad where I'm going. Don't say anything.
But Luffy doesn't get down like that, dude. And they realize that even when this child is being hung from a ceiling, from rafters and tortured with spikes.
Like, literally beaten. And this fool doesn't have a devil fruit yet.
Gloves.
Or
Luffy
does he?
does. Luffy does.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think Ace does. And that's what I wanted to comment on too, because there was a lot of stuff that happened with fire here.
Yeah.
And because Luffy already had Shank's hat and already had the devil fruit, and he did talk a lot about. He's like, I made a rubber. Why does that hurt? This shouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
But Ace did not have his devil fruit yet because, again, I really just don't think he did, because I think he would want to be training with it and using it and learning how to like get stronger. But yeah. I don't know how that happened or when or where that happened. But that was interesting too. That was something that I did kind of notice. But I love Sabo, and I love their relationship and his introduction. Luffy gets interrogated because he is screaming. They take him, torture him.
He's like, Ace. He's like, don't call my name.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Ace? Yeah, because they stole some of the pirates' treasure, so they're kind of like
street
going
rats,
after
they're
them.
thugs.
Yeah. Riff raff.
Yeah.
Street rat.
Yeah, keep going.
I don't buy that. If only they'd look closer.
Yes. Which is funny too, because we were talking about We were talking about like if we were gonna do a song
Let
or
that
if we
go
were
on
gonna,
way
if we
too
were gonna
long.
do like anything for this arc, and we thought because it is like the end, you know, and we've been doing a lot that we were just gonna kind of just like chill a little bit for one episode. But we were
we thought.
Well, we went back and we were like, you know, we were like reading this arc, and it's so funny that you sing street rap because I got it in my head that I wanted to do like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Sabo song where we're just talking about like Sabo being like, because it's just so funny to find out things about him later, and he meets like Stelly, I think, and I'm like, oh, this is Carlton, dude. Like the first time that Will meets Carlton, right? Not, you know, I don't know. Maybe if Sabo would have hung out with Stelly, maybe, you know, he would have became more like a Carlton. And maybe, you know, when Sabo would have got in danger and hospitalized for some reason, then Stelly would have brought a gun to the hospital, and that would have been an emotional moment. It was a emotional.
Is that an episode?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yeah, where Carlton gets a gun. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Fresh Prince had a lot of emotional episodes. Like something happened to Will, and he gets into the hospital, and Carlton shows up with a gun. And Will's like, "What are you gonna do with that gun?" And he's like, "I'm gonna kill the people who like did this to you."
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's
what
crazy.
The fuck?
It's pretty crazy. But you know, we were trying to write it, and I was like, "Man, it's just too hard to write because it's like I mean, I don't even know how it would go, but we got to give him a little taste of how it would have gone if we would have done it."
I don't even know the lyrics.
It was like because where does he live again? He's like in West Grade Terminal, born and raised in a trash heap is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and I was stealing some gold off of some fools when a couple of pirates who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. They said one little fire, and my dad got scared and said, "You're moving back in with us, and I don't care." And that's like kind of the song, yeah. Because Sabo, you know, he's like the Fresh Prince, you know, Fresh Prince of the Gray Terminal, dude, the Fresh Prince of Trash Mountain. Thank you. So I got to give you a little taste of it. Anyway, moving on. But that's when we find out that that this is Mount Corvo and all this area is that part of the Kingdom of Gao, and because of the interaction, right? There's a little heartfelt moment there too, where Luffy's getting interrogated, never talks. Ace and Sabo find out that he never talks, and Ace starts to really care about Luffy after that, or really get a better sense for who he is, or his kind of will and desire to be. He's like, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "Because I don't have anybody." And that's when Ace
he's scared of being alone.
Yeah.
He goes, "I don't want to be alone. I hate it more than being hurt."
Yeah. And then you also realize that he has been, separated from the Straw Hats for a long time too. So a lot of these things that he did feel as a kid, you have to understand, or you have to wonder if he's feeling them as an adult. Because although he has Ace and he does have all these people that he's breaking into Marine Ford with, his family, his friends, like he's separated. He's apart from them. So it made me think of that when he said that too. So there's a moment where he's like, Ace really put himself out there, dude. And he was like, "Would you say that you need me? Or would you say that like, I forgot what he said. He said, would you say that like, because you need me, like my life is worth like." So, I mean, he really put himself out there.
Yeah, he really put himself out there because it was a high emotional moment. Maybe he thought like Luffy's brain was a little like messed up from the punches or something, because he was like, "Would you say you need me?" And you say that I matter and my life is valid.
Yeah. So would you say that you need me, and because you need me, my life has value?
So I was like,
"Of course." And he's like,
I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, that was a little spot on.
I was a little like, that was a reach.
Yeah. That was like a little too specific, Ace. But then Sabo moves in, and they become brothers over sake.
Oh my god!
I was
so emotional. I can't.
There was a lot of panels, like a couple pages of panels of like all their hijinks and other things that they would get up to.
And I loved how they're all like, "We're gonna be pirates," and they're all like, "Wait, like we can't be on the same ship because we all want to be captains."
Yeah.
And that was so cool because obviously Luffy's a captain. Ace wasn't.
No, Ace wasn't.
Sabo.
Well, allegedly, yeah.
He was a captain for a little bit, for like a brief moment on that water.
Yeah, he was a captain for
on that fishboat.
Point, like maybe 5 seconds.
Yeah. But that was so cute, and it was cool too. Like Sabo said, like I want to study being like a navigator.
Yeah.
I was like, woo, lit. And
now I'm thinking like when you try to ship characters, dude, I think a lot of people are gonna be shipping Nami and Sabo now. I mean, come on, dude.
because he got money.
Because
he got that old money.
Well, we don't know if he's got old money or not because he got blown up.
Blasted. Yeah.
He got blasted.
Yeah, he got blasted. But it was like that was such a cool moment, and also it was kind of like strange to me why Oda, because everything's intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they're all saying what they want to do, and then Luffy goes, and I ... and then obviously he says, you would think that he says, I want to become king of the pirates.
King of the pirates.
But then it cuts back to Ace and Sabo, and they're like, you're so funny, Luffy.
Yeah, I did notice
that. So, like,
too.
what did he say? Like,
I know, and that's what we said, or what I said in a previous episode, where it's like, unless something is explicitly stated in One Piece, then I'm not saying for sure.
Why wouldn't he just say that he wanted to become king of the pirates?
I don't know, but I did notice that too. And I did kind of go, maybe Oda just feels like Luffy's been saying that too much lately, but then that wouldn't make sense either.
It makes sense because then he wouldn't say it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. I did take note of that too. But yeah, this was so cute. They're watching their bond form, watching them build a treehouse, watching them and move into this treehouse, and they
kill bears together.
Gave a little note to Dadan saying like we're going independent. And
then they're up in the tree. I love that. I love like we're going independent. We're starting our own countries.
Yeah,
like
the
just like little kid
later, but yeah,
little kid shit. Like it's just she's like what?
Yeah. And then there was even panels of them and Garp too, and like Garp training them, and he would like have Sabo, and yeah, it was super super emotional. Then we find out that Sabo is the son of an aristocrat that ran away because, again, he didn't want to be part of this life. He didn't want to be. Yeah, and I mean, he has some awesome lines later because the aristocrats look down on the trash people and, just for being trash people. And he's like.
Literally homeless people.
I mean, really, yeah.
That's what it is.
The sad thing is like that, yeah, they're just homeless people.
Yeah, it's literally. Like dialogue about like people in high society and like homeless people. It's like people in LA. They're like, we gotta get all these homeless people out, but we have a huge problem about homeless people. I'm like, then solve it by creating a better system for people that do not have homes. Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these governors one day was like, yeah, well, oh my God, there was a fire accidentally.
I swear
broke out.
No, literally, like it's so messed up. But that's literally what it was. Like,
but yeah, it was crazy. And then Sabo's powerful line was like that. These people are trash. Like these people, these people are the people that smell. These people are the people that reek.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, just these very heartless, cold people, selfish people. Sabo got a lot of great lines, even as a kid, dude. That kid was smart. So he gets sent home with Stelly again. This is the moment where we talk a lot about like feeling like our parents want us to be something. I feel like a lot of people out there can relate to that, especially with like education and things. People and parents. Granted, the difference being that Sabo is way younger, but I feel like for so many people, they feel forced or pushed into certain things by. By either society or by their parents. And this was, again, here, Sabo kind of having to deal with that and being an aristocrat and being, a smart kid and someone who would represent their family the way they wanted it to be represented, and him feeling like the most shackled and the most caged in this place. Even though you would think that, the rich would have more freedom, he felt like he was only truly free when he was just, rummaging through trash. Which is kind of fucking beautiful, honestly. So then he kind of overhears, and his dad is like, threatening him and telling him that, oh yeah, we can't even get you back into the city or whatever if you admit that you had anything to do with these crimes with like Ace and Luffy, and so it was all their fault, wasn't it? And he doesn't sell him out, and then his dad like throws some money on the table, and he's like, let's pin it all on them. Like you just see them using their money.
Yeah, and he goes, obviously, I don't know if we mentioned Luffy and Ace are kind of working with these pirates now because he kind of goes like, I don't care if you're a kid or whatever. Like if you're strong, like and cool, like you can work for me. I have some jobs or whatever. I have a job to do, and they're helping him out. So he's kind of like with them, and obviously, we find out later that this pirate has a deal with literally Sabo's father. So he's like, if you don't say this, like we know where they're at. Like I can just tell him right away to kill him.
He had a deal with Sabo's father to get Sabo back, but his deal now was with the main. It was like with the main person of this like central city.
Yeah.
It was someone higher above Sabo's dad.
No, yeah. But he's just telling like they're with the pirates. I could tell him just to kill them right now.
Oh
And he's
yeah,
like,
for sure.
I'm still not gonna sell them out.
Yeah.
It's like, that was crazy too. Like not just like kill.
And that guy was kill. And that guy was taken advantage of too. The Blue Jam, Captain Blue Jam.
Yeah.
Was taken advantage of too. You know, he fucking sucked.
He literally did. I didn't feel sad for him at all.
Yeah, neither did I.
And all the pirates were like, okay, dude, chill. Like, we're really going to keep doing this to this kid? Like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, because we talked a lot about this stuff at the beginning, but, just to kind of go through it and make sure we're not missing anything, it was just that he was promised that he would get his own, because Captain Blue Jam wanted to be an aristocrat. So he's like, I could become an aristocrat if I just do this. And he kind of ropes Ace and Luffy into carrying these like packages to these X's. And it's these gasoline-filled crates or oil, whatever, to create and to help spread fire. And I mean, it also kind of broke my heart, in anticipation of Ace and Luffy finding out that they had a hand in this and finding out that they were like kind of also manipulated or therefore responsible for this. And there was, again, like the highlights here for me was Sabo running through town, kind of dumbfounded by everybody's lack of a reaction, him bumping into Dragon. This was a very important thing, which leads into a theory I have later, which I don't even know if it's really like a theory, but it is something that I think might have happened. But yeah, and Dragon at the time, we're seeing a younger Dragon, a Dragon who says like, I do not have the power right now to do anything, but I'm working on. We see a younger Dragon towards more of the maybe beginning of his like revolution or like leading this revolution. He's got forces, he is strong, but he's not strong enough. Some of the standout lines for me being like, what is happening here on this, in this place is like a miniature version of what is going to happen to the world. If they're doing this here, if the government is doing this here, then they're going to do it everywhere. They're going to do what they're doing in this town to the world. And in the translation that I read, I mean, it is explicitly stated that this is a like Holocaust. Like this is the government, like a genocide, like wiping out, taking people
out the trash.
Yeah.
Literally. I think that's what they say. We're just getting rid of the trash. And
the two things that really struck me, I think, the most, and really kind of like to my core, was the juxtaposition between the rich kid and the trash, the people who are living in Trash Mountain set on fire, running around, and also that after everything happened, and Dragon shows up and rescues them, and there was a cool Dedan Ace moment versus Blue Jam.
Yeah. I mean, that realization too of like Blue Jam thinking he had everything figured out. And then he's like, wait, the gates aren't open. What? I was like,
yeah, you fucking deserve that shit. You're the only one in that whole area that deserves
it, literally.
But for me, it was also that Oda throws in this at the very end. They went through all that trouble because you got to understand the only reason they were doing that is obviously because the Celestial Dragon was going to come to visit. And so they wanted to clean everything up and make it look nice for when they arrived. And that was their whole goal. And that's why they were murdering people, because again, they to them in their mind, they are just the equivalent to trash. They are not human lives.
They say that. They say they're human. They're not human. They're just like made of trash.
Yeah.
Like telling children this who are like easily just impressionable. Yeah. Just sponge. Like, oh, that's right. They are just like not human. So like what you tell your kids is like what they think or know. And then until Sabo is just like, you know what? No, this isn't the case because I hang out there every day and they're people. Yeah.
And for them, Oda at the very end to say like, and after everything happened and after the Celestial Dragon left and after blah, 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 like the next week they went right back to throwing trash there. And just doing, like that was the craziest thing to me. They went through all this trouble, did all this shit, ruined all these fucking people's lives, murdered all these people. Thank God for Dragon. But then like it wasn't even for a permanent change. It was just something that they wanted to
temporary.
Yeah, to clean things up momentarily. It was them trying to just deal with things really quickly and not have to really work to do anything. And then they just went right. Like that was like the most like chilling. Like they just went right back to doing what they did. They went right back to creating what they had just spent so much like I don't know time destroying That was crazy. But in that time, there was that cool Dadan Ace moment. We learned a little bit more about why Ace doesn't want to back down, which is kind of what you said in the beginning. And then the Sabo incident that where we leave kind of with Sabo. So Sabo does, and the whole time, like we said, Ace and Luffy have been told that they don't understand, that Sabo's probably better off, and they kind of question, that, but they kind of do think that, maybe we don't know. So Sabo stays where he is, Ace and Luffy stay where they are. Sabo sets out to sea. He's like, I gotta go now. I can't be caged here. I gotta go. And he's on his little fishing boat, and he decides to leave the day that the Celestial Dragon arrives.
Just tomorrow.
Yeah, just wait a day.
Wait tomorrow. Get on the boat, go on the other side of the ocean, get on the other side of the little beach, take a little beach nap, and then take off in the opposite direction.
Yeah. The Celestial Dragon, being the punk bitch that he is, was like, get this little vessel. Who do they think they are? Get them out of my way. And he shoots him down, I think twice, like just freaking blows that
And
that
Sabo's
thing
just
up.
trying to put out the flames.
Yeah.
Like, this is his only way to, like, get out of his situation, and it literally goes up in flames.
Yeah. And I think that somehow, some way he ended up on Dragon's ship. There was a line that did kind of imply that he could have, that he was, but then it was such a vague line that it also could have been in reference to just Dragon himself or somebody else, because someone was like, get him to a doctor. But they could have just been talking about Dragon.
You could say they, like, dragged him on the ship.
They could have just dragged him on the ship.
Because he was badly injured.
Because, he needed a doctor. But I mean, this was a pretty sad moment. Although I don't really, it was a sad moment more so for like Ace and Luffy.
Like Dan Dadan's little speech too.
Dan, you keep saying Dan Dadan.
Oh, Dadan, I'm sorry. People are gonna come and be like, what?
You said it like twice, and I'm like, I'm not gonna correct her unless you keep saying it.
Correct me. I'm sorry. I just see. I can't. Dan.
I know. I see the same thing too.
Dan. Where she's like, it's not the nation, like, it's not the nation that killed Sabo, it's the world.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you could do anything to stop them? Like, they're just going to keep doing what they do. I'm like, if you have an attitude like that, it's going to keep happening.
But I also
think
that
Luffy.
I also think that the Dan was telling them, like, you gotta, if you really, it's the world, right? It's the world that is the reason that they killed Sabo. So if you want to do something about it, then you need to be ready to take on the world. Like, so you can't just barge back in to the city and think that that's going to solve the problem, because that's not where the root of this issue is. So she was also telling him, like, you got a lot of you got to stay alive to get strong enough to take on the world, And she, like, tied him up to the tree. She is fucking sick as shit, dude. I thought she was going to be some sketchy, shady, weird, like, Cinderella abusive fucking character.
I mean, she does, she does a lot of things that, I mean, are pretty crazy to these kids, but
nothing crazier than Garp does to the kids.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, that was a cool ass moment. And then that's where they kind of, Sabo and Ace and Luffy continue to train in honor of Sabo, and that's when that scene with the rock happens, and they're just like training, and they're looking over at this rock, and they're talking to it like it's Sabo. That was the most heartbreaking thing. And the only reason I say that the Sabo thing wasn't crazy heartbreaking, it was super sad, but it's like, I'm pretty sure he survived, again, because of just like seeing things.
Yeah. It was like, the rock, they just heard him like talking, and then Luffy's like, he was always the nicer brother. I'm like,
yeah.
And he's like, you little bitch. And I did see this in the anime. I don't think they didn't put it, they put it in the anime, they kind of switched it up, They put it when we saw Ace's kind of like death. They put this part when like Luffy's crying and he's like, I want to be stronger. And Ace is like, well, don't worry, like, I'm gonna be here and I'm not gonna die. And even Sabo had that line, like, you have to like protect Luffy, like he's just our little brother, And I was just like, ooh, I was just like crying my eyes out, like,
There also too, when like Dragon did rescue the people too, we did see like Ivankov there, obviously, but we also saw Kuma there, and this was like the first time we actually see Kuma
get confirmation.
It was confirmed, and that was pretty crazy. And we also get in that speech with Dadan that like Ace was a lot like Gold Roger, and we get a little bit more about Gold Roger.
I mean, Gold Roger's, the way they're describing him, I'm like, that sounds like Ace, and that also sounds a lot like Luffy.
It sounds exactly like Luffy. Exactly like Luffy.
Exactly like Luffy. Like everything they were describing, I was like,
yeah.
Like he stands up for his friends and never falters on his character. I was like, Luffy?
Yeah. Luffy, you mean? When he was, yeah. Also, something that I thought was really cool, and I'm proud of myself for noticing, and maybe it wasn't that, maybe it was very blatantly obvious, and everybody noticed it, but it was cool that when Dragon is returning or on his way back to Baltigo, when he stops like on this other island, close by, he talks about like having supplies or getting supplies, and how there was this like dojo on the island that was very nice to them and gave them, helped them with like supplies and food and stuff. And then you can see what I think, and I'm pretty sure, and it's pretty obvious, is a little Zoro, a young, Luffy aged at that time, Zoro, just lifting boulders over his head, like counting.
Like 80.
Yeah. And he's so, it's very cute.
I would have liked that for all of them.
Yeah. If Dragon's like, you just see his ship go by and he passes by all of their
Grand
islands.
Line Kids.
Grand Line Kids, dude.
It's a little Sanji, little Robin,
yes.
little Choppy.
Hell
but Chopper would have been like a
reindeer.
Yeah, he would have been a straight up reindeer until he ate that. I don't know what age he ate that fruit, but he would have been like a baby reindeer.
Yeah, but he would have looked just like a baby, regular baby reindeer.
With
a blue nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hated him. Wow.
Yeah, they really did.
But
yeah, this was that was cool to see, because again, this world, the geography and everything, like I feel like Oda is very aware of it and where everybody would have been around this time if they were there.
I mean, it's big, but it's also small.
It's a small world after all. It's a small whirlpool after all. War. Whoa, what are you doing?
War.
Excuse me?
Isn't there a character called
Wapple?
Wapple.
Why would you say that person's name? Why would you bring up that?
Because we're saying like whirlpool.
Okay. Grasping at straw hats right now. But
I want to pull a celestial dragon.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pull a Luffy. That was crazy. What? You started it.
Wow.
You started it. Like a celestial dragon would.
Okay, bitch.
Anyway, but yeah, this is where we get to see Luffy's departure again. But we get that little, Lion King 101.5 moment with Dadan, and we get to see her kind of crying when Ace leaves, and when Luffy, leaves, and it was so cute.
I know, she's like, just get out of here, go. That's a lassie moment. Leave, I don't want you anymore.
Yeah, and speaking of emotional moments, that's when we also get to see that back to present day, like Luffy screaming about being weak and questioning, his strength, but back to Garp in present day, going to Windmill Village, and he gets chewed out by Dadan.
Yeah.
And this moment
you
was...
dare show your face here, bitch? Like, I was like... He's like walking around. He looks all happy and shit. I'd be mad too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, this is like... And after thinking about it too, I think a lot of people kind of nailed down exactly how I feel about it. I think he is a man of the government, and he would have intended... There was a couple theories and a couple things people said, like, he is a man of the law and a military man and a Navy man through and through. And so that execution was going to happen. But a lot of people were saying, similar to what I think we both kind of felt at a point in that episode, was that he was going to let it happen if it was going to happen the way it was supposed to happen.
If it was going to be an execution, like not being murdered.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference in like his eyes.
Or he was hoping that, maybe he was hoping that he was going to do it if he had to do it legally through the law. But if Luffy... were to rescue him, I mean, you know what I mean? He
if Luffy were to rescue him and like not, it didn't have to get that crazy.
Yeah.
If Luffy just grabbed him and was like, bye, and there's like no like actual fighting or like crazy war, he would have been like, see ya next month. I'll try to get you guys then.
Yeah, he is a man of duty, but I think he's more so a man of his family.
She says that. She goes, I thought you put your family first.
Yeah, but you put your duty. And she said I think she said you always, you haven't changed. Like you always put your duty before your family.
Oh, but he said, I mean.
Yeah. Well, and then that's when I think another emotional, impactful highlight moment for me was, and I forget, the barkeep's name. I keep forgetting. The woman's name, but she said she stops it from happening. And she, looks at Dedan and she says, yeah, but Garp was there. Garp was there. And Garp was, shackled, whether he was shackled by the law or whether he, whether he could have done something or not, he was right there and could have and didn't or physically couldn't. So he's hurting more than all of us because he saw it happen right in front of him and he either couldn't and didn't, but more so couldn't
and
do
Garp's
anything
just,
about
like,
it.
looking up, like reliving the whole thing. And she's like, you know what? You're wrong. You know who's hurting the most right now?
Yeah.
Luffy. And that's I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, no, not again.
Yeah.
So, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah, no, it was super intense. And I love that line. Like,
it's true.
I love the line from the barkeep to Dedan and then from Dedan to Garp. Like, yeah, crazy. But yeah, that was a crazy moment. And then it cuts back to Whitebeard and Ace's grave, which was so sad to see.
Whitebeard's grave was so huge.
Yeah, Ace got a little one right next to him.
Same height. It's not like they're putting the
It's about honor, Mehgan. Okay, and this guy was like, he had conquered so much of the seas and claimed so many of the lands. So it wouldn't have been as respect. But Ace's could have been a little bigger.
Yeah, for real. Or just like put like a flame tombstone, like make it like flashy.
I'm not saying it needed to be the same height as Whitebeard because Whitebeard was also a very large man. But Ace could have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah, because it looks wild. I mean, maybe they're like, okay, maybe it is their height.
Yeah, maybe it is their height. Maybe, yeah. But you can exaggerate it a little bit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can make it look like Ace was a little taller. But that's where Shanks has that moment where he's talking to Luffy, or thinking about Luffy, and he says it's all right to cry, just overcome it. And then, Jinbe talks to Luffy and, tells him, it's about what you still have, my crew, that beautiful panel. And then we get to see a little message that, because Ray Lee shows up on the island, okay?
Gilf.
Ray Lee, another Gilf. Dude,
another one.
Is One Piece just freaking Gilf Piece, dude? Because
it
this
really is. It's kind of ridiculous.
You got 72-year-old
Whitebeard. He comes out
Whitebeard.
the water. He's like touching his long locks. He's like, hey.
Yeah, Garp can get it. Whitebeard can get it. Ray Lee can get it. And these men are elderly, okay?
Talking geriatric.
They're geriatric, and they can get it. Yeah, Ray Lee came out. Yeah, he came out. He came out like freaking Jason Momoa out of that water, dude. He came out like a freaking 70-year-old Aquaman. Yeah.
Dripping, like glistening in the sun.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Shit.
But it's crazy because, Ray Lee, he says that he left his Vivre card in Saboti, but that that we get to see a flashback from Saboti when the Straw Hats all got Kuma'd away. And we see that Kuma gave him a message and says, like, I'm part of the Revolutionary Army.
Yeah,
it's not how he talks. I'm part of the Revolutionary Army, and I want to protect the Straw Hats. And, like, he whispered that in his ear, and I freaking knew it, dude.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but, like, I was like, maybe it's something different. Like, there has to be another reason. But, yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because they're all in, like, the perfect spot.
Makes perfect sense, but now that we've seen him in Dragon's Past, and now that we've seen him again here in this light from Ray Lee's flashback, it does lend more questions as to why he would have given himself to the government the way he did. Because he was heavily involved in the Revolutionary Army.
He's on the ship.
Yeah, like it was like fucking Dragon, Ivankov, and Kuma.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is something, I don't know. I think it has to be something crazier than just he's trying to protect like somebody, like, it's for the greater cause, which is why I think, So Bodhi once told me
the world.
but that's why
I
think that Vegapunk has actually something to do is not as bad either, because Vegapunk is the one who made the modifications, or I think led the research on the pacifistas, while the pacifistas are, I think, they are weapons of the government. I think Vegapunk minds years ahead has, also built in some sort of override into these things too. And so when they rely on the pacifistas in a moment, Vegapunk or whoever is going to have this override, and
interesting.
And it's going to be able to, they're going to switch sides. These pacifistas aren't going to listen to them anymore. They're going to turn against them, because that's what technology does. turns against you. But yeah, then we find out that Ray Lee has history with Boa and her sisters. That which would also explain. I mean, I guess Amazon Lily, the island, has a history of hockey before that, but it would also explain why they're so, proficient in hockey.
Yeah,
I'm sure Ray Lee kind of gave them a couple lessons too. We get a flashback of Usopp and Chopper, and they get word of the events that unfolded on Marineford, and they both try to leave, and then it kind of cuts to Perona and the Muggy Kingdom. But we see that someone has been on a little vacation, a little war vacation in Marineford, and wasn't home when Perona and Zoro got there. Mr. Mihawk, one of the 7 warlords of the sea himself, is just feet kicked up on the table, like he's having like his morning breakfast, like his cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
He's just living in this desolate, deserted, like haunted mansion, and he
kind of on brand.
Dude, so on brand. This man is sick. Dude, this man is so sick. And he is just chilling. And when he kind of was there and Perona walked in on him, that's what I'm saying. Like all these people who show up to these islands, that's the layers of what Kuma did. I'm like, what? Mihawk is there? Fucking kidding me? Mihawk is there?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. And then we cut to Nami and, she's doing her thing, thieving around. On the Sky Island that she's on, Weatheria, and it's Frankie back on Baltimore, and that's when we find out more about Vegapunk. Now, this is the self-destruct button bit was hilarious.
Whatever you do, don't touch the button. He's like, why would you even tell me about it? Like, I wouldn't have known. And then they just keep doing it. He's like, stop saying that.
Yeah. And then it just the opacity or whatever.
God.
The just like the picture of him like smiling, thumbs up.
Yeah, and the explosion.
This moment will be remembered as a moment in history.
Like, would it be my fault?
Yeah, dude, it's so funny. This is why I think, because when we're on Baltimore again, and you were saying this too, and I think you picked up on it a little bit, when the residents of that island are talking about Vegapunk, we've been led to believe, I don't know, in one way, shape, or form or another, that Vegapunk is a bad guy. Maybe we thought that because he was working with the Marines, because I think
pacifistas,
and I think we first heard of this person from Cody and Hogback maybe mentioned him, and I just think that nothing was ever explicitly said about him. I don't think he's as bad as he is, because the people on that island say that he was doing shit. He was doing some Frankie shit, where he was, or not maybe Frankie shit, but he was doing some Tom shit. More like some Tom shit, more like some iceberg shit.
More some like Tom shit,
where he was like trying to like save the island. Like he was trying to like cure it of these constant blizzards and things, and he was trying to
just like improvement of life, pretty much, for
give the people
there.
Improvement of life, and people were like, yeah, he wasn't a bad guy. Like he was, he ultimately couldn't, his inventions couldn't really be made ever, because sometimes the things that he needed didn't exist yet because he was just so far ahead.
Yeah.
But that's a little thing that I think maybe there's some more layers to him. Yeah, there's some more to the man. Then it cuts back to Brooke and the long arm bandits. That was fun. That was cute. But I just love Brooke.
Yeah.
I just love Brooke, and I was just there to see Brooke talking to himself in that cage at the circus. And then Robin and the Revolutionaries and Dragon, Sanji and Ivankov. I mean, this is like, again, Sanji like learning attack cooking, or he's going to start learning attack cooking, because Sanji's like, this food tastes bomb, and I feel like it's like giving me life. And then that connection too of like, yeah, food is like connected to the body and health and energy and all these things. And it's just like, no shit. Like, I'm like, this is dope. Then they're all like, I want to do whatever I can to make this man the fucking pirate king.
Exactly.
Because this man saved my fucking life.
Exactly. All those flashbacks to them, like, before they had met Luffy and how much he like helped them. I was like, damn. Like, they're really like, that's their main motivation.
And they're all kind of like, reacting to this article that we don't get to see. We don't get to see for a long time. We get to see everybody's reaction to this thing.
Yeah, like everyone's reaction, not only the Straw Hats, like just like across the board. Like,
we get to see Vivi and Alabasta. We get to see Croc and Daz react to it too. We get to see Luffy's mom and Daz react to it too. We get to see like everybody, even like Buggy, who is like reunited with his crew again. And we get to go cut back to Sabaody and the Flying Fish Riders still protecting the Sunny, and Kuma shows up.
I love that. And Kuma shows up, and I was like, that's still the Kuma. Because remember, all the other Kumas didn't have that Bible.
But I think Kuma, whether Doflamingo was telling the truth or not, which I do believe he would be a man to manipulate things.
Yes.
I do think that he might be gone still, but I don't know. Because we didn't get to see. We didn't get to see because like Shaki, I think, or turned to him and was like, you're still our ally, right? And it cut away, and we didn't get to see what happened.
I think he has a little
more left in him.
Little left in him, yeah. Because maybe this is the last time you'll see me, because maybe he knew. I mean, there'd be a significant amount of time before they all saw each other again. Maybe he'll be gone then, but maybe not right now.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna save it for the theory section. But yeah, and Ivankov kind of talks to Dragon about that too, and asks him like, how do you feel like the world is reacting to Dragon having a son and Luffy being his son? He's like, well, people are pretty stoked that I'm just like human. You know? And,
he's like, Luffy's not a child anymore.
Yeah. But this was cool, just checking in on everybody, getting to see where everybody was at. And then it cuts to the elders now, and they're talking about they're like these people with like D in their name, like they're getting too well known, like they're popping up like too much, and we need to wait to fill the other warlord seats. So can you pass me a pen? I want to write down. I want to remember that. I want to ask you at the end here who you think are going to be warlords. That's going to be fun. Because I don't really have any right now, but I'm going to think about it by the end. But yeah, they're going to figure out who that's going to be. Sengoku, this was lit, dude. Sengoku and kind of Garp too. I kind of forgot that Garp kind of like in all like he still has all the perks, right? But for all intents and purposes, he kind of has retired.
Yeah, for real.
And Sengoku has kind of retired too. And both of their logic, especially Sengoku's logic, is like, look, the era is dead. Like, we're old heads, We're old heads. Like, let the old heads die. Let the new generation, do what they got to do. Like, we need, like, new minds in power, too, to handle these new minds or these new, pirates on the sea. And so Kuma's like, Aokiji's like, Sengoku's like, I want to promote Aokiji. I think Aokiji's perfect. So I'm like, damn, Aokiji's going to be a fleet admiral now, dude. Like, that is so sick. That and Captain and Smoker's there too. Which he's like Commodore now, right? Or something. Like, he's not even just like, he's something else. Smoker. Now he's getting like relocated to G5 because he wants to be stationed somewhere in the new world too. But it's just like all these pieces that are moving is so crazy.
I know.
Like, it's so crazy.
They have to readjust their gameplay now.
As much as I hate the military, but I do like Kobe and Helmeppo, and I do like Aokiji.
Yeah, we get to find that Kobe can use hockey.
Kobe has hockey.
Kobe has hockey.
But what I love about that is that it's not just like, this is what I love. It's not that like it's like gifted. It's kind of what like I think everybody was mad about when they talk about the Force in Star Wars. Yeah, and how it used to be this like thing that was like an energy that flew through all of every living organism, not even just humans. Like, the Force was theorized or talked about in the earlier movies about existing in everything that had life. Plants had the Force and things had the Force. But then when the prequels came out and George Lucas was like, the midichlorians, and everybody was like, well, now people are fucking born with this shit. And this is whack, dude, because you're telling me, again, like, just like aristocrats and people are born into money, I have to be born into the fucking Force now? This is whack as fuck.
You're telling me I don't have the Force anymore?
That's you're telling me I don't have the Force anymore?
That's who we're really mad.
Yeah. For real. But I don't know if they ended up retconning that or officially or not, but that's what I like about hockey. When it's explained, is hockey is in everybody. Everybody has hockey on one level or another. It's just their ability to harness it. And it's not even that people have necessarily, maybe some people do have more of an ability to harness it than others, but it's not that they don't. It's just that they don't ever get to that point. Like, everybody probably could, but they just don't ever really like work towards that.
And I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, but does Mihawk have hockey?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think, again, to go back, I think he can. I mean, he for sure can. I don't know if we've ever seen him use hockey, but it is funny to see when Ray Lee is talking at the very, very end, which we're almost there, about hockey and the 3 different kinds of hockey. And Luffy is having flashbacks of everybody like, no shit, that's what Mantra was. Yeah. Like in Skypiea that Anaru was using. And he's having flashbacks to all these people who were doing all these things. And I even think at a certain point, because he talked about specifically that you can imbue Haki, into like even like inanimate objects. So I'm thinking my boy Usopp is gonna for sure, because if Kobe can harness Haki, and Haki's in everybody, and everybody has the ability if they try hard enough to use it, then there's no reason why Usopp, even maybe a teeny tiny bit, can't tap into some Haki and put him into those freaking things. But Mihawk probably does, but whether he has the observation Haki or whether he has, I don't think he would have the Haki of the Supreme King. But if he has the other one is, I wrote it down. It's the attack. It's the observation Haki.
It's the arms.
And the arms Haki.
The color arms Haki, and then like color of observation Haki.
So I believe Mihawk could have
arms is the only one that could counter. That's counter effective to the devil users in general. That's why people like, even he's like, oh, liquid or whatever, devil fruit, like you thought you could never beat them, but now you can. That's what I was saying. Like if Mihawk has Haki, like Zoro's definitely getting Haki.
So if he, and that's the thing, like Shanks has it. Shanks is obviously a
I saw a comment that's like, everybody knows how powerful Shanks is, but like we don't know yet.
Yeah, but like nobody knows. We
don't know. Like everyone else knows in One Piece, but we don't.
But yeah, I mean, Shanks has Haki. Whitebeard had Haki. So it would be. I mean, I'm sure Mihawk like would have arms Haki, or maybe even observation Haki. Actually, a swordsman, that'd be pretty good to be able to react to things. And you could use both. It's just Ray Lee says that some people are more proficient in one than the other. Mm-hmm. But the third kind, the Haki of the Supreme King, is the far more rare kind. But I do think you're right. If Mihawk has it, then maybe on some level Zoro will have it as well.
We'll be trained with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is when we find out what Luffy did, and that man circled the island and rang the bell 16 times and observed a moment of silence to get the message to the Straw Hats, dude. And when people start putting it together, like I think his name is Killer, part of Eustace Kid's crew, is like, why Eustace Kid's like, this guy's crazy. What's he doing? And he's like, they do that at the beginning of every new year to bless the year. Thank
8 times for the thanks of this year, and then 8 times for a prayer for next year.
Yeah. And he's like, he's doing that to usher in a new era, dude. And he's standing there posing for the camera. He circled the island, and that was for like the passing of like Ace and Whitebeard. Dude, this man is ceremonial. Dude.
Ceremonial Luffy.
Yeah, I mean Ray Lee really is doing him, teaching him right, And he's standing there and he's posing for all the cameras and all the pictures, and they're putting it all in the newspapers, and he's got 3D2Y, and they
the D is crossed out.
The D is crossed out, and again, that is so cool because, like you said, with the will of the D even thing too, and D just being such a cool thing in One Piece that like the D is crossed out. I don't know, adding emphasis to that letter, but they get the message. The message is basically that we were supposed to meet in 3 days, but now we got to meet in 2 years. So stay wherever you're at, and I think. Obviously, Ray Lee is doing this because he's telling Luffy what Kuma probably told him and that he wants to help them. So Luffy now knows that they're at a place where they can train and they are safe and they can become stronger. So he realizes that he needs to do the same, stay where he's at and become stronger. And so, they're gonna meet up in 2 years. And we see like some things happen, like the newer generation that's coming up, like Basil Hawkins, like kind of fucking some shit up. We see like I forget the guy's name, but he's like the guy who looks like a gangster, like a mob boss guy. They get like sucked up from something out of the sea.
Oh,
remember that?
Yeah. I
thought it was the moon. I thought it was the moon, and there was craters. Yeah. And yeah, I mean Drake's going after one of the emperors, Kaido, which now
we haven't seen.
But now we know that it now has been said that like Shanks is an emperor, Big Mom is an emperor. They've said that at this point, and they've said that Kaido is an emperor, but we haven't seen them yet. But their names have been dropped. And what's Drake doing there? That man is that former. Yeah. He's a former government too. So I mean, I'm scared of that guy. I'm scared of that guy's knowledge. That guy knows something. That guy knows something.
And he can turn into a dinosaur.
Fuck yeah, dude. This guy. Oh man, dude. I mean, if I had a zone type fruit, devil fruit, yes, I'd like it to be an ancient dinosaur type. I mean, if I could turn into, I would be singing You know, because like there was that movie with John Goodman, what's it called? What was it called again? We're Back, where he's like singing and they're all dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs, dude.
Singing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Exclusively.
This is where, you kind of see a moment fuck bitch boy Blackbeard.
You see a moment fuck.
Because I'm just like, he's really kind of, he's acting a little too, he's wilding a little too
bitch.
hard.
Like he's straight up a bitch. Like that's it.
Yeah, Blackbeard. You get to see him. He's got Bonnie, all tied up. He's saying some wild shit to her, like, be my girl. Like, no one wants to be you're nasty.
Yeah, You're
nasty. Yeah, I mean, he's a little too crazy, dude. I get it. It's his era now.
He's power hungry.
And he's fucking, he's a force to be reckoned with. But just because you're a force to be reckoned with doesn't mean I have to.
You have to be an asshole. Just do your shit and get it done, and you don't have to relish in the moment. Just get it done and do it.
I'm more so speaking to him as a person, like the way.
That's what I mean. Like you can have all this shit, like you be like a real villain. Like you just seem like you don't. I don't know.
That's a good point too. I mean,
just be. Yeah.
He seems like he is like too new to this shit. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
he is.
He's got some OGs backing him up.
He's goofy.
That's what he is. He's a little goofy, and he's got some OGs backing him up too that can really help him kind of get shit done. But he is too like fuck Blackbeard. I can't wait for Luffy to whoop his ass
up.
And I know it's gonna mean that Luffy's gonna get his fucking ass whooped too. But
we'll see.
Luffy will be victorious. Yeah, I hope. I hope. I don't know. But then we get to see Doflamingo consult his conspirator. Oh, and Akainu shows up for a second too to talk to Bonnie.
Bitch ass.
Yeah, another bitch ass. Doflamingo consults with the guy he's like conspiring with, and that guy's a shadowy figure within the government. And so we don't know who this man is. We still don't know anything about this man, but their relationship is made very clear. Like Doflamingo's just doing whatever he wants to do and can leave at any moment and can exit this deal at any moment because he doesn't give a fuck. But we don't know anything about this guy. Again, these are all, I think, things that are being set up. For sure. We learn kind of what everybody's gonna learn on these islands. Zoro has that cool ass moment where he begs Mihawk to train him. And Mihawk finally comes around and goes like, "You want me to train you to kill me?" He's like, he's like,
ha 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 ha. That sounds fun.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, if you have something that you care about more than your pride, that you're willing to like sacrifice your pride for this thing, then I can respect that kind of thing, or that's intriguing, or I like that, or whatever Mihawk. You know how Mihawk talks. Yeah. So I mean, we're seeing all that, and then Luffy and Rayleigh go to train on the island of Ruscania. I don't know how to say it, but they go to train on this island, and that's where they learn about Luffy learns more about hockey. We learn more about hockey. We learn about the color of observation hockey and the color of arms hockey, and then the power to overwhelm in the color of the Supreme King hockey. And that is the only one that observation hockey and arms hockey can be trained, and you can gain strength in those things as you train. But the power of the Supreme King, or the color of the Supreme King hockey, is your spirit, your drive. Like you are, however much you grow as a person is however, and as a leader or whatever, as a user of the however much you grow is how much your hockey in the color of the Supreme King grows. It's the embodiment of the user spirit. And so Luffy's going to be on this island for 2 years. I've been telling everybody I've been so excited for this man to finally learn some hockey. And he's here with the man, Rayleigh. It would only make sense now that Rayleigh would have to treat him on some Ray Luke shit on an island.
For real.
Except Rayleigh's not going to be sucking on any freaking, alien. He's not going to be milking any aliens on this island. You know what I mean?
He might.
Maybe not aliens, but maybe like, other animals. Yeah. And Luffy puts his hat down, puts his Vivre card down, and he goes, "Let's get this started. Let's fucking go." I'm like so lit right now, dude. Everything, everything is happening. Everything is set up. And so what kind of world am I going to be coming back to?
I know, for real. I'm like, I'm kind of like sad. Very emotional.
I'm very emotional too, but I'm like emotional.
They're never going to be the same.
I'm emotional, but I'm more excited than anything.
I'm excited but sad.
And I think Mehgan's a little sad just because there are some time skip designs that we've already obviously seen, osmosis and all. And some of them I think that you don't like as much as you do like their classic OG looks. Like I think you like Nami's, pre-time skip look a little bit more. I think you did say that you like Frankie's a little bit more. And I think that was probably it. Those two.
Yeah, and Robin.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? But I'm excited to see them again. I want them to reunite. I mean, that's going to be like tier central.
Yes.
But yeah. Return to Sabo. I mean, like.
Do you have any major theories or like any final thoughts you want to give on this whole arc before we wrap this up?
I mean, like I said,
and I need your predictions for Warlord too, but you can save that for the end.
Okay. Oh, I haven't even been thinking about it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Say what you got to say, and then I'll give you more time to think.
Just
about
like overall, I think this arc definitely just showcased again like how much Luffy has grown and how much he needs, like even more so to like how much more he needs to grow. And definitely made me feel way more attached to Luffy, and it definitely humanized him a little bit because you see this guy who's kind of like impenetrable and can do anything versus like when he was a child he was still like he was not the same as he is now. And to see him so vulnerable for the first time was like really, really intense and impactful and super like obviously done for a reason that we didn't see any of really Luffy's backstory. We saw him with Shanks when he was younger, but the real nitty gritty between like him, Ace, and Sabo. And I just had a great time. I thought it was fun. It had everything you need. Fun, action, fights, obviously emotional for different reasons. But I am, again, so excited for the setup for the next arc. Like, it's just everything is coming to a head, and they're going to take this time to, like, grow again for themselves, for Luffy, for this thing they're trying to achieve. And it just had a lot of great moments, and it was very refreshing. I mean, Marineford was just super intense, and bam, 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 like every page. And this was a little more laid back. Stuff happened. A lot happened.
Yeah, a lot happened.
But it was a different type of feeling than, obviously coming off of Marineford. But I had a great time.
Yeah. I'm just still kind of just blown away that we're here. But for me, it is the end of an era. It is the end of an era. Whitebeard's era, but it also is the end of an era for One Piece, right? Like, that portion of the story has been told. That chapter is over, and now we move into a new era of One Piece. Like, yes, it's a new era within it, but also as a story. And it's like you said, like all these loose ends. For all these loose ends to be tied up the way they were. And I love just when it goes through and we get brief moments with all of these characters and everything. We're just seeing and just getting to imagine and getting, hyped about like what they are, like what they're going to be when they return, like how much they're going to have grown. Like, what are they going to, like, we know kind of what they're going to look like, but what are they going to have done? What are they going to have learned? Who are they going to be when they come back? Like, that's why I'm so excited. I'm a little sad, because they're not going to be the same Straw Hats that I've not exactly the same Straw Hats in terms of definitely power level, but that's what's also exciting too.
I was going to say maybe that's a good thing.
Because they're not going to be exactly the same. They're going to be themselves, but stronger and better. And I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait. And like you said, I loved getting to see more of Luffy's actual backstory revealed, and his relationships with Ace and Sabo and everything, and the emotional family moments, and again. All of these training arcs that are going to happen, or whether they happen off page or in the time skip, and maybe we only get to see little glimpses of them here and there. But I can't wait to come back and meet the crew all over again. I think it's going to be so epic. I think I kind of went through my theories just a little bit, which was just the Vegapunk theory. Like, Vegapunk isn't as bad as maybe everybody thinks that he is, or he seems to be.
Yeah, same with like the Kuma thing. Like, I do think like that might still be Kuma because of the Bible thing. Like, I don't think the other ones had the Bible, so that's like personal.
Yeah.
I think something is up with that conversation between like Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. That cutaway when he didn't say I'm gonna be the Pirate King. Like, what was that about? That was a little weird, Oda. I don't know what that is. And then also just like Sabo probably being, under Dragon's wing, or Dragon maybe helping him out.
Yeah, I think Dragon rescued Sabo, and Sabo has spent, at least if he's not still with Dragon, he spent maybe a period of time with Dragon.
Yeah.
And then went off and started doing his own thing. Why would he? I mean, it would then kind of make sense, because if Sabo's been alive, right? This is how we have to like think about it. I think to formulate like a better or to get a better idea of what might happen. Is Sabo has to have seen, you would assume, Luffy's wanted poster. He would have to have seen Ace's wanted poster if he survived. So why
did he
never reach out? Why? Because he probably was fully aware. Did he think that Ace and Luffy thought that he just continued to live? Because did he not know that person from Mount Corvo with Dadan was in the crowd and saw what happened? So did he think that would never get back to them, and they would just think he was living as an aristocrat? He was living as
an aristocrat. Yeah, that's probably more on the nose, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah, did he think that, and then he didn't want to, and he didn't, I don't know, but I still don't know.
I mean, like, after he finds out Ace's death, that's maybe when we'll see him again. He'll reach out, back out to Luffy or something.
And maybe he had a similar deal with them that he had, that like maybe like Shanks and Luffy has, where he's like, I want to see you guys again when I'm, on your level, or when I'm strong, or when I'm a powerful pirate or whatever. And what kind of pirate, if he is a pirate, if he is alive, is he? Does he have a crew?
Is he a navigator?
Like, is he a captain? Like, what? My big question is, I think he's alive. I think there was a period of time and a portion of time that he spent with Dragon, but I don't think he spent this entire time with Dragon. Why would he not reach out to Ace and Luffy? I think for that reason, maybe, I don't know, maybe he just wanted to wait. I don't know. But then, yeah, Ace's death will bring him back out if he is alive. And I just want to know, like who, I just want to know what he's been up to since, like, and what kind of man he is. I still think he's going to be a good man. But yeah, I mean, there's so many questions I have about him and what his role is going to be, in Luffy's life from this point on. Yeah, and to say what you said about Kuma and everything, you're kind of speculating that Kuma might still have a little bit of himself left in Saboti.
Yes, I think so, just a little bit.
And I do have no idea who this guy that Doflamingo is talking to is.
Yeah, I couldn't even really speculate.
Honest. Yeah. And then the only other thing that I think is like worth theorizing is, I do think that one of the 7 warlords of the sea will have to be one of these new generation people. So I'm saying, do you think someone like Kid and Law?
Possibly, but who I was thinking that would be crazy?
Who?
Buggy.
Oh, that's hilarious and kind of awesome,
because
and would make kind of sense.
I feel like he would just he'd just be lucky, and he'd have all these powerful people on his side to he'd get through the war or whatever, and he'd be, come out because he did get that thing to get the treasure or whatever. Yes. He's gonna accomplish a great thing, and everyone's gonna hype him up, and everyone's gonna think he's stronger than he is, and then they're gonna hit him up.
I mean, I think, because I do
what
think,
do you think?
I think that would be hilarious, and that would kind of fit with what Buggy has been doing.
That's what I think. It would make sense. He's like, how did I even end up in this position? Do they even know what I can do? And then he's gonna be on the front lines as a warlord. I can't do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense if somehow,
because he escaped Dimple down, they're just gonna think he's badass. They're gonna regard him.
Yeah, he's got the crew to back him up, and he got the armband.
Yeah.
So I do think that you might be onto something. The 3 remaining seats might go to Kid, Law, and Buggy, which would be crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait. This has been such an incredible journey and such a fun journey. And let us know what you think about maybe taking a break and doing for 1 week, because of just where we're at in the story, and doing a ranking of the arcs pre-time skip or commenting on some of these theories or doing definitely a still long form dedicated One Piece video.
Switching it up, making it fun, One Piece content. I mean, this is fun already, but just like different stuff, you know?
And I can't wait for what the new world holds for us, for, just like what we will discover within the story, how that will play out on our show, what cosplays we will end up donning, and the dawning of the new era that will come. I am so excited to...
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I'm so excited for the future. I'm so excited to be getting closer to catching up with everybody too, and to be able to be a part of the conversations of the community and the reactions of all these things that are happening. I know
the collabs.
More collabs. We definitely have more collabs lined up, but there are a couple people that we can't even and won't even at this point in time say we have really locked down or say that or give any clues to. But there are some people who have talked to us and reached out to us about wanting to collab when we get to certain points that are like maybe 2 or 3 arcs away. So we're super excited for the collabs. I mean, this is giving me life. One Piece is life right now. One Piece is life right now. I'm fucking high. I'm fucking lit. I'm blacked out. I'm OD'd. I'm OD'd on OP.
Whoa.
Yes. And just, thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for subscribing to this channel, to everybody who came from the teching video and decided to stay. We fucking rock so hard for you guys and with you guys. You guys are so sick. You guys. You guys are sick. Everybody who's just discovered us through the algorithm, everybody who's been there since day one, since our first freaking One Piece video. It's so cool too that we, as of this recording, recently hit that 10K milestone. And we're kind of going into the new world. So it's it's the new era of the channel. Woo! And I'm just I'm freaking pumped, dude. I'm too lit to quit, dude. I'm on fire right now.
Yeah, you kind of are. I see some flames starting.
Pastor Lucci, come save me. Yeah, that's probably going to do it for this episode. Let us know in the comments, some of, your favorite moments from this arc, maybe some of your theories that aren't going to spoil anything up in, spoil anything in the future past what we've read. Let us know what you think about doing that kind of One Piece video in the interim, in the week between this episode and the next episode. And yeah, just any and all thoughts, and just thank you for the love and thank you for the support. And we love doing this, and we love that you guys love watching this, man. I get so excited every week to sit down and talk about this shit because it does give me life.
Yeah, it really does. It's just great coming on every episode. I can't wait for what's to come.
Yes. But before we go, we have to thank our wonderful, beautiful, amazing Patreon members. Thank every single one of you guys as well from the bottom of our hearts for your support. Because of your support, we're able to don the cosplays that we don, and you better freaking believe that we're coming hard with that New World cosplay. Maybe a V2 Perona cosplay. Shooty, maybe a Mihawk cosplay. Definitely a Doflamingo cosplay. You already know it, okay? Woo! I mean, what I'm talking, we're ready to get fitted up. Dude, I want to get a Frankie thing. I mean, we're gonna get wild. We're gonna get so wild. We're gonna get so wild. It's gonna be so fun, and it's because of your support that we're able to do that. And we don't just invest that money in cosplay; we invest it in equipment. You're seeing us sitting here with some new mics. So hopefully improves the sound quality of the show. We want to improve the viewing experience, the entertainment value, but also the production value, and we want to just raise the production quality of the show. So it's better across all fronts. And it's because of your support that we're able to do those things and so many other things, like dedicating more time to just reading these series and going through these series and recording these videos. We couldn't do what we do without you, and we wouldn't be here without you. It blows us away every single day. Thank you from the bottom of our motherfucking hearts.
Woo!
Man, I freaking love you guys. But if you would like to become a Patreon member and become part of that Patreon gang, that Patreon family, then all you got to do is go to patreon.com/volume1pod or become a YouTube member by clicking join on this video. You not only get early access to all of our episodes and access to our exclusive bonus Patreon podcast, Volume 1 Extra, but you get those things on our lowest tier on both YouTube and Patreon. So again, if you would like to become a YouTube member or a Patreon member, just go to patreon.com/volume1pod or click join on this video. But also, do not worry if this is a moment in your life right now, or you're in a position where you cannot support financially, that is not a problem at all. There are many other ways that you can show your support that are equally as impactful and equally as important and mean as much to us. And Mehgan will tell you those things now.
If you have no spare berries, you can support us by becoming a part of the algorithm gang. You can just comment on any one of our videos, any one of our One Piece videos, this video, like, subscribe, comment. It all helps us out, and it definitely helps our videos stretch far and wide across the grand line, and it really does help. It's the same as giving, donating money to us on our Patreon. It's the same type of deal. It definitely helps us, and it is free 99. Please, 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 you can do that. You can follow us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff, and also share this video with anyone that likes One Piece too.
Yes, dude. Sharing helps a lot too. Put it on in the background. Let it play all the way through. YouTube, long form videos.
Put it on and silence it. It's done.
Yeah, put it on. I mean, as long
you don't
as
even
it's
have to
on.
watch it.
But also it'd be cool if
but
you did.
But it'd be cool if you, yeah.
It'd be really cool if you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube doesn't always favor long form videos, so all that stuff really does help us, dude. Help us and the Volume 1 pirate gang, pirate crew, conquer the new world, conquer the algorithm, the turbulent waters of the turbulent waters. I don't know the word of the algorithm. Okay, but we love you all equally, and we appreciate your support equally from the bottom of our hearts. But that's gonna do it for another episode of Done Piece. That's gonna do it for our final discussion and read through, walk through, review of the pre-time skip era of One Piece.
We did it.
We did it. We're halfway there. We got a lot more to go. So we look forward to seeing you there as well. But the only thing left to do now is to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes, Mehgan, which today is...
Bye, Sabo. Gotta go.
Bye, Sabo. Gotta go. Not bad. Not bad.
Or done. Peace.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that because I mean this is just the beginning, okay, of what's to come. All right. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Okay.
As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And until next time. Done peace. Done peace. Done peace.